In Proverbs chapter 26, verse 11, it says, "As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his folly." Now, Proverbs 26 has a lot to say about the fool. In fact, the word fool is used 8 times in the prior 10 verses, and I know that it's used, I think, in even the next verse, in verse 12, and I identify pretty closely with this fool that is spoken of in Proverbs, just in what it says and the things that I have done in my life. This verse stuck out to me when I read it again. I've read it many, many times, but this verse stuck out to me because of just how I was in my past. I spent pretty much my entire adult life stuck in the bottom of a bottle, and it progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse as the years went on. I remember, I think it was in 2012 or maybe 2013, I got a DUI. And that was the first time I ever experienced alcohol withdrawals. It wasn't from the DUI, it was because I got out of jail and did that thing that I wasn't supposed to do, and went and immediately got booze and spent like the next 5 or 6 days, I guess, just wallowing in my pity, getting drunk. Now, one would think that after getting this DUI and after going through withdrawals and having a relationship just completely destroyed because of alcohol, that I wouldn't have turned back to alcohol. No, but I did. That was young in my life. That was 13 or years ago, 12, 13 years ago when this happened. I've been through alcohol withdrawals more time than I can count on my hands. I have no idea how many times it was. It destroyed jobs. It destroyed relationships, destroyed my life, destroyed my liver, kept me from my walk with God. A fool returns to his folly. As a dog returns to its vomit, we return to the gross things in this life that destroy us. But God is faithful, God is merciful, and God is gracious. I've blown it so many times that it would be hard for me to give another person another chance. If they had blown it as many times as I have with God, if they blew it that many times with me. But God is faithful. So if you're stuck being that fool, no offense to anyone, but if you're stuck being that fool, returning to your folly, turn to Jesus. If you've never turned to Jesus before in your life, turn to him now. If you've been with Jesus before and you've gone the way of the prodigal like I did, then return to him. He is waiting for you with open arms. We don't have to live our lives the way of that fool. Jesus is gracious and merciful. He's waiting for you to come back to him. So if you've never known him, go to him now. If you have known him, return from your prodigal ways and submit your life to him and let him be the Lord and master of your life, the way that he desires that it is. Things will turn around and you won't have to live that life of the fool anymore. God bless.